Welcome to the Mr. Shades show. This is our review of Star Wars: The Last Jedi, and I'm here with Poe Dameron.
Fuck you. I'm a way better character. I'm ready. Ready to go. We're set.
All right, what did you think of The Last Jedi?
Well, you see, this helmet is not for my protection, it's for yours. It's to keep some of the salt inside.
That's funny because the final battle takes place on a salt planet. Just gonna let that one hang for a bit. You did not like this movie.
No, I didn't.
You did not.
I didn't. I mean, Force Awakens was a step. I don't know if in a good direction or bad direction, but this was definitely, you're diving off the diving board into fucking a pit full of two hobos fucking in a wood sock. I don't know. Other colorful things. Where do we begin?
I guess we begin with the plot. Even though
What
that's
plot?
It's
What
really
plot?
hard to say.
The
You've got-
scene-to-scene writing, the
you've got-
sticky note, the fucking, here's your directions for this shot.
You've got three major plot lines happening throughout the film. You've got the Poe Dameron one, Finn and Rose, and you've got the Rey stuff. That's a lot, and there's a lot that happens in those.
Is there?
Well, I mean, there's a lot that happens in the movie.
There's a lot that happens off screen, too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of filler. There's a lot of, this makes no sense. And I think the biggest thing that's really indicative of this entire movie is how, what's the phrase I'm looking for? Oh yeah, like the example I pointed out when she's flailing, for lack of a better Super K, at the rock with a lightsaber, and how it's not casting any light on any of its surroundings. That's what this movie is. It is a projection onto a canvas that doesn't really do anything, but it pretends to be something. And it's very obvious that it's not that thing. This is a collection of storyboards assembled by a team who wasn't sure what they wanted to do and realized,
Well, apparently
fuck, we
Ryan
gotta make 3
Johnson
movies.
walked in day one with storyboards.
Well,
He did the storyboards.
he
at some
clearly
point,
just
I
had
guess.
storyboards. I'm pretty sure, now, call me a heathen if you want, I'm pretty sure M. Night Shyamalan would have done a better job.
I would actually, I think, well, because M. Night has like a certain style to his films. I think it'd be kind of interesting for him to do, maybe not a mainline Star Wars, but a Star Wars story that has some kind of little bit more weird themes and like weird things happening in it.
It's...
But that would be for a different time.
It would be better,
It-
but
it
that's,
might
the
be-
bar is fucking low.
See, you have your 3 plot lines, and you have... So we're going to talk about each plot line individually, because the way this movie plays out, it's scene of each one happening at the same time.
There's a lot of each one happening at the same time, but there's passage of time in each one at
Yeah,
various different points.
the time is so confusing.
It
This
doesn't
movie
make any
starts
sense.
off with right at the end of Force Awakens, the Force Order has found out where they are. They attack. Poe has a good scene with Hux, and that whole opening action is not bad.
Yeah,
There's some fun moments in there.
yeah. There's some moments that it's question. Should we then start with Poe because it
Yeah,
does
we'll
start
start
at the
with
start of the movie.
we'll start with the Poe storyline. So Poe destroys this dreadnought, which is later undercut. It's like, we destroyed a Star Dreadnought, but this bigger ship shows up. It's like, well, why do we need the bigger ship, or why do we have this? Like, it's just why?
And it brings to a point which does come into Rose's storyline, but like how he's talking to the bomber crews and stuff like that. And like we're mentioning, it's like, oh, they have this fighter, this interceptor escort, which basically does nothing because
It's an interceptor
what are
on
interceptors-
escort duty. It's
what are
the dumbest
interceptors
idea
going
ever.
to do against turbo lasers based on the ground? Okay, yeah, sure, all right, why not? And then those bombers, you take one hit and they fucking start on fire, and everybody grope about, oh, the bombs fall down like they're in gravity. Well, they're above a planet, but whatever. Magnetic bombs, sure, whatever.
Yeah,
But the fact that like that the fact that these are heavy bombers that aren't bristling with shields and gun emplacements, and that they sent them in literally to be a suicide mission. It's like, oh, well, Poe sent them in to be a suicide mission. These are crews. It's like, yeah, but anybody could have told them to stand down at that point. But that's a different Bolowick entirely. Like, just focusing on that scene. And there's a scene with the bomber pilot where she falls down a tube, almost drops the thing. It's very all Hollywood bullshit.
Yeah, it's a very... You're supposed to be, like, on the edge of your seat.
Well, you're supposed to, like, oh, I like this character. I understand.
But we've never met this character before.
Oh, I understand why this moon thing's suddenly important later on and how much it cost this character to give up, but we'll get to there. The camera fucked that shit. It could have been done far better, or just not done at all, maybe.
That's the whole thing with this entire movie.
Yeah, this whole movie could have not been done at all.
Or done better. It's so lacking. Like, some of the ideas are good, but it's lacking in so much execution that there are good things in this movie. Don't get me wrong. There are good things in this movie. But it's just so overshadowed by just monumental piles of crap.
Warm in this helmet.
Like, there are just moments where it's like, oh, that was good. But then, like, 3 things happen that are bad, right?
Yeah.
For every good moment, there's 3 bad things that happen.
Yeah, it's...
So Poe's storyline is very much just like, he's stuck on the ship, he gets demoted. It's like, whatever, okay, fine.
And gets demoted, but not really.
Yeah, no, not really.
But not really. It's,
demoted in basically name, like, rank, title only.
yeah.
Like, everyone still respects him and stuff like that as a commander.
He still seems to have the sway.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he's clearly a fighter ace.
So he gets demoted, and then he ends up spinning his wheels on this ship the entire time. He's asking Admiral Holdo what to do. What's the plan? What's happening? Tell me something.
Yeah.
She doesn't tell him like what you said was, oh,
yeah,
we have a plan. I'll tell you your part in it.
All she has to do is just exert her rank and just be like, hey, listen, I'm currently in command. You know, I understand where you're coming from. However, I have a plan. Go and wait on the flight deck because you've been demoted. You have a part to play in this. I will let you know when your mission comes up.
Yeah, or the fact that she doesn't call all the staff again to be like, here's my plan. Like a normal person would be.
Yeah. Like, yeah, he doesn't need to know, but it's also like...
It's kind of a need-to-know basis. And it's like, if you say, oh, the plan's on need-to-know basis, you'll know when we need you to know.
Yeah.
That's how that works. Poe would have been like, all right, good.
Oh,
I'll wait.
Still would have thrown a hissy fit, but it would have been meant on him as opposed to being like...
Yeah.
And the thing it still kind of is, because it's like, dude, just fuck off. Like, she's this hero, but then you have no faith in her. It's like, really? Really?
Yeah, it's really... It goes both ways. A lot of people are seeing it as just Holdo. It's like, no, Poe is also at fault here.
Oh, yeah. They're both dumb, and they're both being written dumb.
Yeah, so...
And it's like...
Lots of... Like, the whole idea for Poe's storyline is that he needs to learn a lesson. He needs to learn how to command.
Again.
But he was already in command.
Yeah.
And he was already, like, there was no indication in the first movie, like, of how he was, like, like, how he wasn't a good leader, or, like, even, like, in the first movie, they have a scene of him being like, we're with you, Poe, we're with you.
Yeah.
He's a good leader in the first movie. We already know this.
Yeah. So why is
But
this...
it's just in the movie to give Poe something to do.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing with Finn and Rose.
It's also the same. It's the same thing, and it's like, oh well, like I gather that what I'm guessing is they showed up with storyboards, and it's like, well, we got Laura Dern, so let's make her a character. All right, let's create some conflict. That's how that feels, anyways. It's just like it's purely manufactured for no fucking reason. Half this movie, like all that shit in the cruiser, just could have not happened.
Oh
and
yeah,
it
for sure.
would have been totally okay.
Oh yeah, totally lots of stuff in this movie didn't need to happen, which leads us to the next story, the Finn and Rose story.
This one's even worse.
Yeah, we'll save the best for last.
Oh boy. So my biggest
I'll let you
my biggest gripe
take this
is
one.
that, like we said, Rose isn't a terrible character. She's given some absolute god awful writing. zero motivation and no character consistency.
Yeah.
She goes in about a 5-minute scene. And they camera fuck the shit out of this moon piece, by the way. To be like, this is important. This means a lot to her.
It's just hitting you over the head with that.
Like we said, they could have shown the moon piece hang off her sister's helmet. Kind of did it a little bit subtly, maybe not so
or
subtly.
even on the base, like the blast shield of the helmet right here.
Would have been fine.
Just a little like yellow logo off to the side.
Yeah, and then she's sitting there crying, and then it camera fucks the thing piece. And then she starts talking to Finn,
obvious,
and she's like, "Oh yeah, talking about this." And like, well, and there's the bit where it's, "Oh yeah, well I've already tasered 3 people who came up to this thing today," and then she actually notices the bag and is like, "Wait, you're gonna betray?" It would have been fucking perfect and showed that like, she's not an idiot. If she just went, I already tasered 3 people today, but you wouldn't be doing that, would you? And then mid sentence, like,
show her noticing the bag earlier.
Not even that, just. It's fucking obvious. It's behind him. She sees him doing it, walking up. How dense do you gotta fucking be?
Yeah,
and then when she's hauling him off from the crate, my sister died. It's like, well, yeah, a lot of people's siblings have died.
A lot of people just died.
Well, and not to sound insensitive, but like, all she has to do is like, well, you're clearly bailing. You're a fucking traitor. I thought you were told me, you know.
I'll take you to...
Not only that, it's like everyone's saying like, oh, you're a traitor. Or it's like, yeah, you've ever seen this hero, you're basically a traitor. So, you know, fuck you. And then she, in the space of another conversation, she flips on his side and starts helping him. Like, where is the consistency in the characterization?
That was the next scene.
No, they start talking back and forth. It's still the same fucking scene. And then it goes, smash cuts to them with Poe. Like, there's no consistency with how this character is portrayed. None at all. Not a goddamn thing. And I feel sorry for the actress having to play her, because I know she got a lot of fucking hate.
She was bullied off Twitter, which was unwarranted.
She was kind of given a shit run and didn't really earn it.
Yeah,
like she was working with what she got. She was just in a Star Wars.
Yeah,
like,
that was like, she was like, when you see the interviews for her, she was genuinely excited to be there.
I mean, it's a Star
she was
Wars
glowing
movie.
and happy to be there, and then to have that happen to you,
even if it was a garbage fire, I'd still try.
Yeah, and she did.
Thing is, you don't know if it's a garbage fire until the whole movie's put together, because you're only really familiar with scenes you're in. That's the way filming works, right? Like, it's never enough. Very few films are filmed back to back to back to back.
Yeah,
like
it's always shot out of order.
Yeah, so and there's a script table read, but you're not going to say anything because you're like, I don't want to get kicked off this fucking movie because it's Star Wars.
Unless you're one of the big people.
Yeah, unfortunately,
of production.
Yeah, unfortunately, like that's probably going to be, at least for a while, a career killer.
Yeah,
because it's like, oh well, this backlash to the character. Oh, it can't be the script; it has to be the character, thus the actress.
Yeah, no, like that was something that I disagreed with, was her being bullied completely off Twitter. It was completely unwarranted and a great overstep on the fan base.
That's the fan for it.
Because I actually still ended up liking her in certain moments.
If you could rewrite the character, there'd be a way to do that.
Yeah.
Finn in this movie, again, like
he's repeating his same beats from the first.
Same bullshit, and it's, yeah.
And he's probably going to be set up to do the same thing in the third one.
If they don't kill him off outright, we only hope. Nothing against the actor, just the character's shit.
Yeah, I love
honestly,
how
they killed all the good fucking characters in this movie. So I'm like, I have zero investiture as to where this fucking third movie goes. I'm going to it because it's a spectacle. That's about it. And I can't wait to see what kind of garbage fire they make.
So like,
which is not the reason you should go to a fucking franchise you like.
Yeah. So the Finn and Rose storyline, they have to go and find. So they set up this whole thing. It's like, oh, how are they tracking us through hyperspace? Admittedly, that was set up in Rogue One, that the Empire was looking into that. So it's it's a throwaway line, but I didn't expect that. It's like, okay, that's a little weird.
At least there was a bit of planning for that.
Yeah, there was a little bit of setup there. But so they have to figure out how they're being tracked and how to stop it.
Which they never actually figured out how the fuck they were being tracked.
Well, they just know. Because Finn just knows how it works. Whatever.
Yeah. Or like the fucking...
So then they go... Poe sends them off to this... Well, they get a call from Maz Kanata, which is just insert this character here. And
I didn't even like her in the first one. That was someone I forgot to mention in the other video. Was like, I thought Maz Kanata was a waste of fucking time.
Because it was like... Because we were trying to avoid some spoilers, because we actually kind of like that one. We want people to see that one. This is like, all she is just an exposition dump, so it's whatever. And again, she exposition dumps in this film, but it's even worse.
You want to call it exposition?
Yeah,
Sets
it's
up-
just a dump.
Sets up a character which immediately doesn't happen, which I like subversion, which that part was fine. It was just like they're on this huge time thing, and it's like, oh, well, they had time to do it. It's like, oh, well, they have enough fuel, which has totally been a thing in Star Wars before.
Oh yeah.
But and then all that, just that entire, what was that place called?
The Canto Bite, the Casino Planet scene.
Completely, the whole thing was completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
Completely just dumb and hammered home, and they set up like, oh, well, these
It
slave
felt
kids, and then
like everybody has said who reviewed this movie has said it felt exactly like something chopped out of the prequels and into this film. 'Cause
absolutely.
there's a tonal disconnect. The CGI takes a dump.
Oh,
The
God.
like everything in that scene just feels like they cut something out of 2002 Attack of the Clones
It's
and
just trashy.
dropped it in
It's
here.
just trashy. Like, I don't understand it, and then the weird fucking. It just doesn't make any sense. The logical gaps are huge, and not only like obviously we're not looking for a huge degree of logic, but we expect characters to have at least some consistent thought, and they didn't, and it's disappointing.
Yeah, like there's a lot that
even-
we could talk about in this movie that's just wrong, but like it would take up too much time.
And that leads into the fucking Rian Johnson experimental filmmaking, which leads into the Rey fucking
Yeah,
plot.
We'll get into that, which is so they kind of fail and they end up on the big ship. They get captured, and we had a lengthy discussion where we saw like them getting captured actually works. Like, and we found a way that would make sense.
Yeah.
So we're not gonna like trash that just because
Well, that part makes kind of sense. That
you
like,
can infer enough from the film.
obviously this guy is gonna fucking turn on them.
Yeah, you can
because
infer enough from the film
Yeah.
to be like,
they're-
oh,
yeah,
this is happening. It's not going to be like, it's not going to
Yeah.
be like, you're not going to be like some of these other people talk about this
come
movie.
out
It's
of
like,
this comes
this
out
comes
of,
out of nowhere.
where
It's
it's
like,
like no, there's enough subtle details that like
if you're paying attention.
I mean, for example, like what's
The
that?
hat
Benicio del
being-
Toro's wearing his hat like backwards and upside down, and it's like no Imperial officer is gonna wear his hat like that.
Yeah, it's
So
fairly
it's like,
obvious.
here's a way to make it look like something's out of order. If you communicated before, and hey, watch these people, which would explain why the droid immediately looked at the garbage can instead of being
Yeah.
like, oh, it's not gonna wear, but whatever.
And then we also discussed that Finn is a known defector, and like they would know immediately something's weird because they would have his face on file.
Yeah, and it makes very little sense, but I mean they get captured and that's fine. And Captain Phasma, the character, the next Boba Fett,
Yeah,
dies again, only to return, I'm sure,
oh yeah, we're actually
or to just not
hoping-
return and never be commented on.
We're hoping she return. We're either hoping for she does return and it's just stupid, and she dies again,
But like this time gets dead, like disemboweled, as much as like Gwendolyn
disemboweled or like beheaded or
Christie.
something.
With an air of finality about it,
Yeah.
please.
Because the falling into the chasm thing, when has that ever killed a character?
Shadow of the Colossus, but a much better film, video game,
Yeah.
just media story. whatever.
Again, like, but yeah, there's so. Then they end up at the end. They reunite with Poe on the base, and now we're going to talk about the Rey storyline with Luke on the island.
AKA the biggest waste of a legacy character you could actually do.
Yeah,
Seriously, you have Luke fucking Skywalker, and it's just like, there was that whole controversy with Mary Sue and Daisy Ridley being like, it's all sexist. It's like, no, you're missing the fucking point. And A, not really. B, Rey is ridiculously, she goes right from Luke fucking with her to like being
Sensing
crazy powerful
everything
and
about
sensing
the
everything and
Force
how he's not connected.
on
It's
this
like,
island and stuff.
like, I get it, you're really overdeveloped in your abilities. However, it seems too perfect, and how you're already almost mastered it, and then you can just dummy Luke in 1v1 combat. Admittedly, Luke was never trained, but he's been doing this for a long fucking time.
Yeah,
Presumably, he's figured something out. He had the ancient Jedi text. He's had Force ghosts. someone taught him swordsmanship at some point.
I mean, also,
You know,
but,
he went on to
Like, he could
Quora.com.
like there are obvious resources for him to learn.
Yeah.
Maybe not necessarily lightsaber combat, but at the very least, like vibro sword combat,
Yeah.
which would probably be at least very similar because it is a melee weapon that is very similar.
But she just dummies him and then starts quoting all this shit and trying to like question his actions and shit like that. And it makes no sense. And then, you know, she goes off and does her own thing. And it's like, it's a character that the plot revolves around and everything lines up for perfectly.
Yeah.
And who has difficulty, but then doesn't actually have difficulty because everything's kind of set up for her to
it's all
win.
internal conflict, but it's not conveyed.
Internal conflict. Yeah. It's not conveyed in a manner that actually makes it make any fucking sense.
Like, there's so many points where it's like Luke's cut himself off from the Force. He just doesn't care anymore. It's like, that's interesting. That's interesting. But they do so many times to try so many times to turn him back to the Force. Like the first one with Rey and Chewie talking to him in the hut. Mm-hmm. Then there's him on the Falcon with R2-D2.
Which they could have saved for like right at the end. Like put that scene before he intervenes. Make it like, hey, I'm not going to help anybody. And then have that and then have him force project.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's the him deciding to use the Force again to sense that Leia's been hurt. And it's just like, it does 3 beats. And it's like, really? You only needed 1 or 2. You needed Rey to fuck up, and then you needed the R2-D2 one to hit.
And it's, I don't know. There's so much.
And then you have the talk with Yoda too that doesn't turn him back yet.
Mm-hmm. Well, and there's so much wrong with that too, because it's just like he's stuck in his ways, and then pulls a full 360, and then he dies.
Yeah, it's
character arcs by Rian Johnson. Or whomever the fuck wrote it. I mean, we can't also ignore the fact that J.B. Abrams was one of the executive producers.
Yeah.
And we don't know how many people are involved in this. But the scapegoat's the scapegoat. I'm using it.
Yeah. I mean, most of the online blame's gone to Rian Johnson. Not that he's deflected much. He is also
a writer-director, so they're typically pretty far up their own ass.
Yeah.
Director's one thing. You'd see a vision, see a story, find a way to put it to film. Explain it with the story, but if they write the story, they're invested in it, and I feel like that's
all these storylines lead up to the point where Rey, Finn, and Rose are all on Snoke's ship at the end, and like they're not together at all. They're just circumstantially there.
Kylo turns on the guy who's being a complete dick cheese to him. Shockingly.
Yeah, they rip off Return of the Jedi, one of the best scenes of all Star Wars. Mm-hmm. They rip off that. They even lift dialogue and like try and do the music.
Rip music off of it.
And
not to mention the Imperial Guard.
And it's just so.
And then they do this one take shot, or not one take, but like wide shot, which I enjoy. But if you really critically analyze it.
It's bad. We're talking about the fight scene between
the choreography,
the guards and Kylo and Rey.
And that's where like
Adam Driver carries himself in that scene very well.
Yeah, kudos to him there. But
not so much Daisy.
She misses her beats, and then they just don't go for like I'd have worked the fuck out of that scene.
And the
because it's kind of a big thing.
And the disappearing dagger.
Oh my god, yeah.
That one was obvious.
Oh no,
it's so bad.
He got a knife. He got like all you have to do is put in an extra move where she spun and knocked the other blade out of his hand.
It literally just disappears.
Yeah, no, he pulls. He's got a knife, passes her shoulder and neck, no knife, and that's right before he has so he has a free arm.
Yeah, he has a free arm that had a dagger, and it goes to her back, and the dagger's gone. And it's so stupid.
My theory: she got stabbed in the back and just hasn't noticed yet because she's so Mary Sue overpowered that she's immune to daggers.
I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, so like that fight scene wasn't very.
Makes me want to barf into this helmet.
Please don't. But yeah, like there was so much in this movie that didn't work. There was good ideas, but the execution was so lacking that like So overall, the story not very good.
There were
and
some
it was,
moments that were kind of cool, kind of awesome, but there were few and far between compared to even the previous movie and much more the other movies.
Yeah.
You know, the bit where they're trying to annihilate Luke, and then he steps out, wipes the dirt off his shoulder. That's funny. However, they did fuck up one thing about that scene. They put music.
Yeah.
I would have just... They're bombarding him, it's that, and he walks out. Would have been way more effective. The whole music just fucks up the tone.
Yeah, completely.
It's like the scene in Dark Knight where they're in the subway, or not the subway tunnel, but the underground tunnel, and there's Batmobile and the trucks and shit like that.
Yeah.
And I saw one guy do a smash cut of like, all right, well, here's what this would be like if they put music to it, and it just wrecks it.
Yeah.
And if it's like there's no music because that doesn't need to be.
Yeah.
I felt like that was the case.
That some of the moments in this movie feel way too overscored for what's happening on screen.
Poor John Williams.
Like the moment you said, there's the moment with the Falcon in the Crystal Caves. That felt like they're overscoring it.
We saw the Death Star too.
And it's just like the music, some of it parts work well, but a lot of it feels overscored. So like, and visually this movie's great. There's the one scene where Holdo does her kamikaze
that was
thing.
definitely,
that was great.
For me, not to jump the gun, for me, the best part of that movie was the kamikaze hyperspace run. And exactly that. There's no overscore, there's no unnecessary sound.
It's just you get to enjoy it.
Smash cuts to a reaction shot of no reaction from the critic.
It's just
you're
Leia
stunned.
and
You watch
Poe.
somebody sacrifice yourself. You can't even imagine.
And it's Leia and Poe, and they're just
to be
stone
fair,
cold face.
They adequately summarized the audience reaction to said sacrifice.
Yeah.
Oh no, this character that I liked.
Yeah.
Isn't it sad?
So, should we move on to our final ratings of the film?
Yes, let's.
I'll let you start. Where are you putting this on the scale of
A fucking
10?
2.
2.
A fucking 2. It is a Star Wars movie, and some of the actors do a passable job. Mark Hamill, he tried.
Yeah.
Give him that. He did a good job. And even he admits, like, yeah, Luke wouldn't do this. You know he's acting, and behind his eyes, he's going. You can kind of see it some of the times. He's like, no, I don't believe this.
Yeah.
And was it Kelly Marie Tran?
Yeah.
She's trying. Kudos. And a lot of the main cast are trying. I mean, so is Daisy Ridley, admittedly. She's working with what she's got.
Which is,
I
for
feel like,
a lot of people, not much.
Yeah, no, I could see her doing a fantastic job, just not here.
Yeah.
And the few and far between cool moments, even with the visual spectacles, and like we mentioned it, we call the Ryan shot, where it starts on a target, something comes in frame, and then it pans.
Yeah,
but
he loves that. Like,
but it's a slow pan, so there's 5
slow
seconds
pan
of you
shot.
looking at fucking nothing.
Yeah.
And that keeps fucking happening, and it's dramatic. No, it's not. The camera's not fucking there, Ryan. The camera's not there. This is a movie. This is a fantasy space opera. You can go and smash cut. It's okay. George Lucas did it.
Yeah, everybody did it. Like,
There's a style.
This movie just
I appreciate
doesn't
you
fit
putting
the
your own-
style of
even
Star
the
Wars.
opening shot where this thing comes up and then it zooms past it. They look like they're fucking pieces on a 2D screen that you're moving by. There's no depth.
Yeah, it looks.
You go for this dynamic shot, it doesn't fucking work.
No, he's trying.
The cinematography is fucked. The music is effectively John Williams trying to recycle and do what he can. Even he's unsure of the tone, which that helps.
Yeah.
Whoever wrote the dialogue needs to go back to school. Set design, I mean, most of it was fucking green screen, so kudos to the animators on that one, I guess.
It feels completely different from like Force Awakens.
I am hesitant to call it a Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
Because it feels like a Star Wars knockoff. And it like...
And there are Star Wars knockoffs that are actually better than this.
Yeah, I've seen fan-made stuff that was far better, and I've seen 5-minute fan-made stuff that had better cinematography and emotional depth than this shit. And that's why I give it a fucking 2. And I only give it a 2 because it has those spectacle moments. A 1 is virtually like I refuse to watch.
Yeah.
I'm like, the only reason I decided to come back and watch it was because I know we wanted to film this video and we had a bunch. Otherwise, I'm like, do we really have to watch the fucking Last Jedi? Like, I'm just done with it.
Anybody who tells me, hey, let's watch Star Wars, I'm like, fuck yeah. Last Jedi, I'm out.
Last Jedi is there's Star Wars and then there's Last Jedi.
Yeah. So for me, my final rating would probably be, I don't think I'm going to go as low as you, but I'm definitely a 4. That is a below average film.
Far cry from Rogue One.
Yeah.
We're going from the highest they've ever given to the lowest they've ever given, I think.
Yeah. Like, it is a below average film. There are some great moments, solid moments and stuff, but it's so just buried in stuff that's just not good.
The drop off between the scores is how much I want to hang myself after watching that. That's how far that drop is, about a good 7 feet.
But you watch this and it's like there's so much. I talked about the pacing
jarring
problems in Rogue One.
Like,
there is no pace for this movie.
I had the same reactions, although admittedly not nearly as viscerally, to Batman vs Superman.
Yeah.
Where I'm sitting in the theater going,
they're pretty comparable.
It's not often that I do that. It's got to be a shit movie. The only other, I can think of 3 times in a movie theater. I can think of 4, but the 4th time I walked out because I'm like, I'm done with this fucking movie. I think that was, it was Life of Pi.
Ooh.
It's a great looking movie. It's fucking boring.
Yeah.
Just like, well, this is not for me.
But yeah, like, as I was saying, I had problems with the pacing in Rogue One, and I still scored it high. Here, there is no pace.
Yeah. It's not that they ever have problems with pacing. It's just never established.
Yeah, there is no pace at all. So I don't know when things are happening, if things are happening at the same time or not. Like, the pacing is completely fucked. So
have you noticed that the Last Jedi, before it came out, there was about 3 months of solid media coverage where the actors won all this shit, all this stuff. It is December. There has been commercials. That is it. The actors aren't doing a fucking thing. There's not many people talking about it. I'm thinking they're hoping that they can just quietly put this one in. People will see it. It's a Star Wars movie. Even if it's passably better than The Last Jedi, that will be enough. They are fucking scared of this thing.
Yeah,
because nobody wants to touch this property with a fucking 50-foot pole.
Because of this film.
Because of this film. Like, even The Force Awakens was dicey, but a solid sequel could
nobody was
retroactively worked it in and increased it.
But yeah, like, so I had issues with pacing, the plot, visuals. Like, the CGI was downright garbage in certain scenes. Like, it was so noticeable.
And I mean,
the lack of just like the practical stuff, the passion was gone from Force Awakens. Like, this one, there was nothing.
It felt like just a soulless sequel. Like,
it
you
felt
get an
like
awesome
just
movie.
churning it out.
It felt like the direct-to-video sequel to a really good movie.
Yeah.
It felt like Titanic 2.
So I'm sticking with the 4 out of 10. You're at a 2 out of 10.
2 out of 10, and that's a tentative 2.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is going to be an easy question to answer, but a very hard question on the other side because, and like you did with Rogue One, we're going to ignore the hyperspace kamikaze scene because guaranteed we both like that.
Yeah. So
what was something you liked?
It's the best scene.
The best scene in your opinion.
Oh man,
I'm excited to hear this.
Oh, this is. We just watched it, and I'm already blanking
Straws
on the movie.
Were pulling.
Yeah. Fuck, man. Like
so much.
there's so like. Another thing with this movie, you feel the runtime.
Oh yeah.
You absolutely feel that 2 hours.
His pilot's uniform is indicative of my will to get the fuck out of that movie.
Best moment for me would have to be the Force connection moments between Kylo and Rey, because it's so different and interesting that the Force works in that way.
Even if they don't work well as characters, at least it's something new that they're bringing to the table. And that's actually like, oh, okay, I can pay attention to this.
Like how the Force manifests the water on Kylo's hands, or do we know if that, like, there's also the layer of if that was actually a physical thing, or was that just the Force creating the vision
and the fact
and the feel of water on his hands.
And the fact that Snoke said he was making that connection, and they had that connection after the fact.
That is also something interesting to think about.
My theory that Snoke is just a puppet for Palpatine, and that he's just using Snoke's name as a way to conceal his involvement in it.
Yeah.
That would make this a much better movie. The sad part is I have to come up with continuities to make it more watchable.
So what was your best moment?
Oh God. Oh, let me pull some fucking...
I was reaching at straws with that one.
The interactions between Benicio del Toro and BB-8. The fact that they were actually fucking entertaining, and the fact that it was funny and had a bit of that Star Wars charm.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I can see
they could have
that,
made that the whole movie, and it would have been better.
That would have been a great show, like a mini series of those two.
No,
I would love like
the random like D&D levels of fuckery that would have happened.
Yeah.
Now, easy thing to remark upon, but what did you fucking hate the most?
Oh, what I hated.
Other than the movie.
Okay, should we exclude what they did to Luke's character?
Yes.
Okay, we're excluding that.
Exclude the fucking character crucifixion. Crucifixion, just
the misfirings of comedy, I think. Like the ones that were supposed to be funny, but I didn't find that funny, were the comical shot of Snoke's half body with his tongue hanging out, the Hux and Kylo in the final fight where they're repeating each other's dialogue,
and he just bullwhips Hux against the wall, and he fucking just yelps like a fucking dog.
Or the scene where Snoke pushes Kylo or Hux to the ground. That's supposed to be funny.
It was satisfying because he bounced his face off the ground.
It was satisfying,
You
but
always
it
like
wasn't
to see an annoying
exactly
character
funny.
get fucking shit on. I mean,
so I would say the comedy beats that just were fucking terrible.
Yeah, there's very few and far between ones that work. That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
What was your worst part of this film?
Fuck, there's plenty to choose from. So
I
many
know,
choices
right?
and riches aplenty.
Yeah.
The entire fact, and I have nothing against Laura Dern, but the entire fact that she was in this movie, that Admiral Holdo was a character, all the plot bullshit that was created by that existence. They didn't need that character.
Yeah.
That could have been anyone else. That could have been fucking Akbar, for fuck's sakes. You got Laura Dern. Cool. Put her in a different role. Also, I wasn't aware she had that much star sway. But whatever. I respect to her. I've seen some of her later work. She's really, really good.
Yeah.
It wasn't in this movie. Everything about her. From her outfit.
The hair.
It just didn't fit. Her attitude. The relatively wooden fucking acting. Which I can attribute to the dialogue and the director.
Yeah.
The fact that it just didn't work.
That's the same thing you could say about the prequels.
Totally we're friends, but you can tell we're not between her and Carrie Fisher.
Yeah. That was just gross.
And the fact that she has this emotional exit. And we're just...
But she doesn't have an emotional entrance.
We're smash cutting to the reaction
of just this.
That's basically...
Yeah, you can't even see my eyes, and I nailed that.
Yeah, it's that entire thing.
Just the nothing.
And there's a can of worms I want to comment on, but I'm not entirely sure how much I want to open.
Oh, is this the scene that we were talking about?
No.
With
this is the fact that she is being touted as because this character's gay. It's like, did it ever come up in the movie? No.
I don't even remember if that was a thing.
I remember hearing about it. But it's like
I can't. I'm all
for representation and tying it in. Awesome. But the character was bad enough that I'm not sure you want that.
Yeah.
The character was shitty enough that I would. We're distancing this one.
At that point, it's very clear. It was like if it was a thing, it's just pandering.
It's pandering. The whole fucking movie's fucking pandering, for fuck's sake.
Usually, I like to end my reviews with recommending this movie to somebody.
I wouldn't recommend this movie to.
I can't recommend this to anybody, even Star Wars fans. I can't recommend it to you.
It actually now. Here's something I never thought that would happen. It actually hurt my excitement to go to see a Star Wars. It's like, it's Star Wars. Yeah, I'll go see it. It's cool. It's Star Wars. And I'm just like, the new one's coming out. I'll probably see it in theaters. Which, of course,
we're going to go see.
Maybe. I haven't made any salient plans, mostly because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing over Christmas, because my shit's up to
yeah,
anyways.
Me too.
But it's like, I guess we'll see it.
Sometime.
I don't care.
Hopefully.
Maybe. Solo tried and really relatively entertained me, but I took forever to get around to watch that.
Yeah, we might take a while to get around to the review. We might even have our Rise of Skywalker before we do our solo.
That one's been on the fucking board for a while. We need to get around to that.
Yeah, we might have our Rise of Skywalker done before we do solo. Just because of the timing of what we're doing on weekends is so wonky right now.
Schedules are extremely hard to coordinate.
But,
I work nights. It's a fucking hell show.
I can't recommend this movie to Star Wars fans. I can't even recommend it to a general audience? Because
I would-
usually, like with my reviews, I find somebody who would like this movie. Even the Hellboy movie, I found someone who would like this movie.
I didn't mind it. It was bad, but I liked it.
Yeah, like it was
Shit,
enjoyable.
but it was enjoyable.
Yeah,
shit. It was, you could roll on it a little bit.
but like here, I'm having
Even
Like,
if you were like, I gotta watch
outside
every movie.
of the Star Wars fandom, or like you're so far removed, like you have to see every single blockbuster. I can't recommend
Even
this.
if you're like, I want to watch every single movie in the Star Wars just for the sake of knowing the plot, I would rather give you a summary than have you watch the fucking movie. It would save
Yeah.
you time and it just didn't.
you could look up the
inordinate amount of
Wikipedia
bullshit.
plot,
I don't even
and it would
do
save
that.
you like
I would
it would
get-
save you 2 hours.
I could take 5 minutes to explain the whole fucking movie to you, and boom, that saved you time. Go and watch The Rise of Skywalker if it's a very low bar to cross.
Yeah,
JJ, come on.
JJ, this bar is set so low. Like, damn, nice. So I think that's gonna do it.
I'm just gonna weather my fucking trepidation of the next movie. Keep my fucking head down and just wait for the fires of incompetence to wash over and just wait for death.
And we'll see you next time.